Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play F1 Manager. Now at some point this week, you'll be seeing this on Monday, I'll be doing a video update to let you in on what's going to happen over the next couple of months or so on the channel. Yeah, in case you miss it, or in case you missed a stream that you should have seen, that I should be doing later today, being Sunday. Yeah, the plan is, after I'm going to finish this over the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks, finish this series off, finish this season off, and replace it with Three Kingdoms. Plague Tale will be going on alongside, and when Plague Tale finishes, it should be finishing right in time for me to start Baldur's Gate 3. So that's going to be the plan, really. But yeah, between now and the start of August, we'll be diving into this, hopefully getting 3 races up at least per week as we finish this season. But anyway, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It was a lovely holiday, nice and warm, coming back a little bit darker, as you can maybe tell on the camera, or not, as the case may be. But yeah, I've tanned up a touch. But yeah, always, as is the case on a holiday, after the end of the 2 weeks, no matter how good a time you've had, at least in my case, I always think to myself, it's time to get myself home. I've got my creature comforts that I'm missing. I've got my, my games to play that I'm missing. As much fun as it is to have a break and do some other stuff, it is always the case that there's no place like home, as the saying goes. And I came back to glorious weather on Friday. It was 26 degrees, so I was like, oh, I've never been away. Topping up the tan even further. Sat in my mate's garden. And then it started to rain yesterday. Thunderstorms, rained all day. But today, as you can maybe tell from the lighting, it's very sunny outside. The sun has returned for today, although it's a little bit milder. But anyway, enough weather talk. We're not here to talk about the weather unless it's the weather on the track. And the weather on the track today is going to be partly cloudy but no rain. So rain is not on the agenda. This is going to be a recorded session as well, not a live stream session. So, yeah, well, I'm mixing it up a bit today because I'm going to do some editing, you see, because I think the races may lack some action at times. So I'm going to cut some stuff out, I think, of the session, make this session maybe about an hour long tops. We'll see how long I wrap it on for. But yeah, here we are at Hungary, the Hungaro Ring, and I seem to recall that Lando Norris, when I left, was on a bit of a roll. He has got a lot of points to make up in the championship, but I think he's won 3 races on the spin. So, yeah, we'll see what happens today. But what happened in qualifying in Hungary? Shall we have a look? Yes, we shall. So, there's a few penalties today. Max Verstappen being the main driver of interest that's got a penalty. So how did a qualifying finish? Well, qualifying finish on a track that is very much twisty and turny. You would expect us to have to fare well, given that cornering is our strong point, and it was indeed. So Lewis Hamilton bringing it home in pole, getting a quicker lap every session. You know, doing it the right way, building up that speed and hitting the high notes when it matters in Q3 with a 1:14.7. Lando Norris couldn't match that, his fastest time of qualifying, a 1:14.9, so Hamilton looking like he's really on fire here at Hungary. Max Verstappen qualified in 3rd with a 1:15.0, kept us honest really throughout qualifying with his 1:15s, very consistent there, but he's got a penalty. Don't know how many grid positions it is, but he won't be starting in 3rd. And then you've got the Ferraris of Carlos Sainz and the current champion Charles Leclerc in 5th position, with the second Red Bull of Sergio in 6th position, some way off the pace, it has to be said. And then there's your other drivers. We're only interested in the top 6 at this point, really, aren't we? Let's be honest. Okay, so strategies here. It's a very simple strategy. It is going to be, it's going to be the old medium. What am I doing? I don't know. Medium onto hard strategy. The soft onto hard onto medium strategy, 2-stopping, is technically quicker on paper, but we don't have to risk such wild strategies. 2-stopping on a track that's difficult to overtake on is not the best strategy to use, perhaps, although I seem to recall 1 year, maybe 3-4 years ago, Hamilton used a 2-stop strategy quite effectively to catch up to and overtake Max Verstappen. I seem to recall that. taking an unexpected second stop and then closing him down in the last few laps as he strapped on a set of soft tyres, I think it might have been. But anyway, yeah. Then did it again to him in Barcelona 2021, and then Max did it to Hamilton in France 2021. In a swings and roundabout kind of affair. But sometimes two-stopping can be quicker if the traffic and everything kind of goes in your favour. So we'll bear it in mind, but as we're the fastest car, we shouldn't need to adapt to such drastic measures. We can just cruise around one stopping with the old medium onto hard strategy. I'm sure we'll be fine. Anyway, so there you go. That's your preamble for the race sorted. It is expected that the McLaren boys take a fast start as usual, put their foot down, and then end up battling with each other for the rest of the race, unless Max can keep us honest, although with his penalty it's going to be a bit more tricky for him, isn't it? 70 laps, baby.
It's a bit of a cloudy day.
Bit of a cloudy day, but no rain is predicted.
With the Hungarian Grand
The man
Prix.
waves the flag at the back of the track, the lights are on, and we're off!
And away we go.
Away we go as we ride on board with Lewis Hamilton in first position. Norris seems to have slipped down into third position as Carlos Sainz is riding the slipstream of the race leader. Will he be able to hold on to that P2? The question is no. The answer is no.
Okay, mate. Good job.
Good job. Norris pops back up into second position. So Sainz is in third, Leclerc is in fourth, Perez is in fifth, and Max Verstappen must have been taking engine penalties because he started from the very back of the grid. The wrong race to take penalties of such nature because it is so damn tricky to pass. You've got to think the Red Bull team have performed some kind of major faux pas here, I would like to suggest. Is my view on the matter, as Max Verstappen threads his way through two cars there, up the middle of both Joe and Magnussen in what was quite the manoeuvre. Quite the manoeuvre, and he's going to have to do lots more manoeuvres like that to get anywhere near the front of the grid today. So as we ride back on board with Lando Norris, who is in P2 and is going to be trying his very best to keep Hamilton honest all race weekend. But as we saw from the qualifying, folks, Hamilton seems to have that extra edge today. Going to stop the rot. His teammate on some good form. And we're going to turn everything down to neutral at this point. No need for us
Save fuel from now, please. Save fuel from
to
now.
be pushing our car so vehemently here, as we are already in after just one lap, 2.9 seconds ahead with Norris of the Ferrari, the lead Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. We're streaking off into the distance here after just one lap, which is not going to bode well here if you're a team supporter of any other team other than McLaren, because what a lovely race. We didn't say nobody can touch us here. Which is what we expect. This is a track that suits the makeup of our car. Our car being, of course, epic when it comes to cornering. So a track that relies on cornering quite heavily. We were going to always do well here. And we'll watch another couple of laps and then we'll have to cut to some highlights, I think, because this is going to be us driving around in a circle for quite some time in this kind of flying formation. But at the end of lap 2, start of lap 3, we've got Lewis Hamilton,
DRS is enabled.
P1, Norris in P2. DRS is enabled, and there is only one DRS zone here in Hungary, and it is, of course, the main straight. You get another dose of DRS, I believe, a bit further around the lap, possibly, or do you? I think you get a double dose of DRS here, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. We'll check it out in the next lap because we'll see. But I think you get a dose of it down the straight, and you get a shorter blast of it down this kind of... Well, you can't see me waving my mouse because my face is covered in that. But yeah, you get a second dose of it down that very short straight after turn 1. I'm 95% sure on that one. Anyway, 3.4 seconds of gap to Sainz. Then Leclerc, his teammate, is right behind him. They're already pulling a gap to Sergio Perez, who's in 5th position and has got a train of Ricciardo, Alonso, Vettel, Russell, Bottas, Ocon and Albon behind him. DRS trains on this track, not quite so prevalent, I would suggest, because of the fact there's only one DRS detection. One long zone, 2 shorter zones, so it's that kind of DRS train effect a little bit reduced here, I would suggest. But anyway, let's ride on board. We've got Lando Norris here with his first dose of DRS down the main straight. But he has a lot of time to make up on Hamilton. 7/10 he was behind there, so Hamilton is looking like he's in the zone. And there you go, the DRS notification is on. You get a second dose of it down this shorter straight. And then that is it for your DRS for the lap. So if you're a faster car, you've got the rest of the lap to pull away a little bit and give yourself that buffer from the car behind. And this is where we'll ride on board with Norris for now for the entirety of this lap, just to see how much quicker Hamilton really is, because he seems to be in the zone today. I got a cold on holiday. It only lasted a couple of days, but I got a sore throat. Then I started with the blocked nose. Then I started with the cough. So I had to buy some medicine out in. We were in when I got it, when it started to come out properly. We were in Rome or Civitavecchia. I can never pronounce it, but I did go to Rome. Went to Rome on the train. Got the train to Rome. What an ordeal! I won't tell you in full now, but I'll tell you in a video update, maybe, or even on the stream that you may well have already seen. Yeah, but I ended up buying some medicine, basically, cough medicine for my cough, because my cough got pretty bad. And the last place you want to be coughing and spluttering is on a cruise ship. The amount of dirty looks I was getting. It's probably not COVID, people. Let's not panic. Let's not have a heart attack about things. It's just a cold. I don't know. Who tests anymore anyway? Certainly not me. But anyway, yes, I had a cold, so I got a cough, felt a bit. One particular evening I felt really horrendously bad, like really weak because of all the coughing, and just like really, lightheaded because of all the bungedness. And it was the night that I was going to the speciality restaurant where you pay that extra bit of money to have the top echelon of food. So having paid for that, I couldn't really enjoy my food because I was ill. Should have really rearranged it, to be honest. But anyway, after 2 or 3 days, it was fine. Got all the cough was starting to go away because of medicine, and the cough and the blocked nose started to help, started to get better, and yeah. But I always feel like it's always the worst thing to be ill on holiday. You look so forward to your holidays, don't you? And then when you're ill on it, you're like, oh. But it tends to happen because I think it's because of the fact that you work hard all year round. You work hard to get into a routine and stuff, so that when you relax on holiday and you de-stress, that's when you're kind of, your immune system drops a little bit, because you're like, oh. It's like a shock to the system, just completely slowing down. You're used to being on the go all the time, and then you're suddenly more susceptible to picking up bugs. I think it's a known thing, actually. I'm not joking. It's serious. I think it's a known phenomenon. So the past 3 cruises, last one I've just been on, picked up a cold. Cruise before that picked up tonsillitis, although it came out as I got back. And on the cruise before that, picked up tonsillitis. 3 cruises in a row where I've been ill, or picked up an illness of some description. I'm really selling these holidays to you, aren't I? Go on a cruise ship and come back ill. Why not? Or get ill on the holiday. Why not? These moving cesspits of hygiene. Lower standard hygiene. As much as they try to make you wash your hands and rub your hands in alcohol gel every 5 minutes, they are like moving, humongous petri dishes, aren't they? These cruise ships. Because if an illness goes round on it, you're screwed, because there's nowhere for it to go other than round the entire population. Right, we're 7 laps into 70. Verstappen is the man on the move at the moment, we're riding on board with him as he tries to make his way through the field. He has moved his way from 20th to 14th. He's probably got brand new engine parts, so he's going to have that extra slight kick of performance there. He's also got the second best car, maybe third best at a push car on the grid, so again he's got that advantage. So we expect him to be able to make his way past the lower ranked teams, if you will. No disrespect to you all down there, but somebody has to be last. Not everybody can be first, eh? There's always got to be a team that brings up the rear. It's the nature of competition. But anyway, we just ride on board with Max to see if he can get past when it comes to the DRS on the main straight here, and then we'll go for a top 10 readout, and then we're going to end this part of the session and cut to when something's happening, which could be at the first pit stops, to be honest with you. We'll see. But this is where the there we go, rides across the detection line. DRS is now open, and let's see if Max Verstappen can make it count. The only disadvantage he's got is that the car ahead has softer tyres, so might be able to get a slightly better drive off that final corner, but I would have expected him to be able to pass the Williams of Tsunoda. Tsunoda doesn't have DRS on the car ahead of him. Max has DRS down that straight and couldn't make it count. Oh dear. Anyway, top 10 then. Let's have a look. Let's ride off board with our race leader, who is keeping his teammate at arm's length. He's keeping him at arm's length. Despite the DRS down the straight, Norris can't make it count because Hamilton seems to be pulling away throughout the remainder of the lap. So Hamilton quicker round this lap on the whole, and kind of Norris just managing to keep within touching distance courtesy of this DRS down the straight would be my analysis of the situation. And which also makes me think that if Hamilton can break the DRS of Norris, pull out of the DRS range rather, he'd probably streak off into the distance. But for those of you who are Lando Norris fans, you're glad that that's not the case, and it's giving Norris a fighting chance to make it 4 races on the spin as he tries to claw his way back into this title race. It's pretty close between the top 2 here, both of course in the mighty McLaren. Third we have Sainz, fourth we have Leclerc, the 2 Ferraris riding just as close as each other as the 2 McLarens are. We shall keep an eye on that one. Vettel in the Alpha Tauri is in P5 here. How has that happened? We don't know, but he is apparently slowing down the field and causing a bit of a train, because he's got Perez behind him, Ricciardo, Alonso, Russell, Bottas, Ocon and Albon from 5th to 12th, all cooped up in a train, led by 4-time champion Vettel. Good effort, Sonny Jim, keep going. So that's your top 12 as I've given it to you. We'll cut away now and rejoin when something noticeable happens. Okay, so Max Verstappen has got past Tsunoda, just missed it there, but he has got past Tsunoda now. The Williams of Tsunoda has been dispatched by Max Verstappen at the start of lap 10, and now he's got 5.9 seconds to catch the train behind Vettel, which is definitely doable here. Definitely doable for Max. Let's take a look at the tyre strategies actually whilst we're here. Most people on the mediums going onto the hards, you would imagine. These soft runners could well be doing the soft, hard, medium run, which is deemed to be fastest on paper. Will it be fastest when it comes to actual the way it plays out on the track? We'll have to see. We'll monitor Vettel, who's definitely going to be looking like he's doing that kind of strategy. But yeah, most other people are doing the bog standard kind of medium onto hards. As we can see, Max Verstappen already pulling away from Tsunoda and making his way towards that train, probably quite quickly, you would argue at this point. Here he is, powering down the straight. The corners at Hungary have no names, by the way. It's one of those tracks where they have corner numbers. No names here. So this is turn 1, you see, and there you go. Technical, very technical. This, isn't it? What's this corner called? It's called corner 1. Oh, I wonder how they came to that. Naming convention. Anyway, so yes, we got Max creeping up on Albon. He'll get there before much longer. That's the only real thing of note happening at the moment. We do have, of course, the front two still line astern, and these two line astern as well. Vettel holding up as is the case, and as was the case last time we checked. But yeah, there you go. Intervals. The race is bubbling away, but nothing major at the moment. Back soon. Riding on board with Lando Norris. Reason being is he's as close as he has been to Hamilton for a little while, but I thought maybe a move would have been made there, but no, he wasn't close enough. So Hamilton's still in the lead, as he has been since the fall of the flag, if you will, the switching off of the lights. Norris is in second. Of course, the Ferraris are still doing pretty much the same. They're having their own little race as we are having our own little race, and as we left last time, we do still have Mr. Vettel holding up. Or is he holding up the group of cars behind him? I don't know. I don't think he has. Albon seems to have locked up there.
And that's the lockup. We can take a look now.
Let's take a look. It's the only action we've had all race. Locking up, going wide, coming into turn 3 there, and yeah, he's lost a position.
And the team had such high hopes.
Could have been worse. Could have been worse, but anyway, yes, that puts Verstappen up to P12 as he's closing on Ocon, who's bunched up behind this train of cars, which actually Russell is leading because he's dropped away from his teammate. So Vettel isn't holding up all those cars at all. Russell's holding up some of them. Vettel is holding up Perez and Ricciardo, but he's got some pace to put a gap on Russell here. So Vettel doing not too shabbily at all, but you know, he's on those soft compound tyres. He will be stopping twice, whereas the cars behind are only stopping once. So you don't expect Vettel to be finishing in the points today. And somebody has spun. Somebody has spun. Who is it? It's Verstappen. Oh, it's Verstappen.
Let's take a look at the replay. Now here we see Max Verstappen.
Max, oh, he drops it in the final corner, and oh, he's smashed his wing.
And there's the crash.
Oh dear. But obviously he was pushing to make up. He was pushing to make up positions, having started at the back of the grid, and obviously was pushing too hard there because he's gone into the barrier and he has damaged, as you can see here, his front wing end plate appears to be knackered. In fact, the front wing itself is knackered. The main panel is buggered. So he's going to have to come in at the end of this lap and pitch and change onto, well, change his wing and switch his strategy up a little bit now. But his race has been severely compromised, you would have to suggest, wouldn't you? Oh dear. Meanwhile, up front, it's Hamilton followed by Norris, as it has been for the past 14 laps as we start lap 15. So once again, back with you when something happens. Okay, so here's Max Verstappen putting on a set of hard tyres. Will they make it to the end of the race? It's touch and go, but of course, the main reason for this pit stop is to replace that damaged wing. He has replaced that wing. He's coming out of the pits way down at the back of the grid. I don't think his tyres will last. He's going to have to put on a set of softs at the back end of this race, strap them on and put his foot down, you would imagine. But yeah, a lot of work to do for Max Verstappen from there. Up front, Hamilton. Oh, and Norris. What a surprise.
You have fastest lap.
Fastest lap of the race, Lewis Hamilton, a 1:21.3. That won't last us. Well, that was looking a little bit too close for comfort. Second dose of DRS. It's probably still a bit too far away. We've got a yellow flag out. Another crash has happened. Who is it this time? It's Mick Schumacher.
Crash. Let's have a look.
Mick Schumacher.
Now we see the Williams here.
Here he goes. round the corner, and and it's a
Definite
oh,
collision
and
there.
he's
That's very unfortunate.
got some issues there too. Damaged wing for Mr. Schumacher, and he's going to have to come in now. So he's actually behind. He's still ahead of Verstappen, but won't be by the time he comes in for his wing change, because his wing also is a bit jiggered. But look how close Norris is here. This is the closest that he has been, I would like to suggest, for some time here. So we'll ride on board and see if he gets any kind of luck down that main straight. Hamilton is slightly pulling away. He's got about, well, he's got 4/10 at the moment, trying to push to half a second up here. Norris just needs to keep as close as possible as he takes this left hand at the penultimate corner round. There's the detection line, I believe that's the detection line as we turn around here. Get your foot down, pedal to the metal. 6/10 though is going to be too much to make up, although it's actually Norris who gets the fastest lap, and I'm not surprised because he was looking like he was as close to Hamilton as he has been, so definitely had a good lap there. Second dose of DRS down this straight, but it's not going to allow him to make a move, I don't think. No, Hamilton's still sticking in first position, making that McLaren as wide as possible as we are having people coming into the pits now here. These have got to be the soft-tired runners coming in now. Coming in to put on a set of hards, you would suggest at this point. Those that are on mediums still have a little way to go before they come in for their stops. We have a back marker there. A back marker, that's Mick Schumacher we're coming up to. Shouldn't interfere too much, we'll see though. We'll ride on board for another lap or two here before we cut away from the drama. Vettel is actually still hanging it out in 5th position. Fair play to him. So this might help Hamilton because he might be close enough to get some DRS off the back marker here. Is he close enough? No, he's not. Which means that Norris has the DRS down the straight. Coming down, coming down, coming down. We'll get another dose of it here, but again, this is not really a long enough straight, really, to make use of it. And once again, Norris still has to settle down in P2. The two Ferraris still racing, and look at that, we've got Vettel still clinging on to P5, holding up Perez and Ricciardo. The Red Bull and the Mercedes respectively. Alonso is a further 2.5 back. We've got Bottas, we've got Ocon bringing up the top 10.
Okay, copy.
Hamilton's tyres are overheating. We'll see what happens as we continue on, back when we get some drama. Okay, here comes Lando Norris. This is as close as he's been now. He's right up the gearbox, going into the second DRS zone. Is it going to be enough? No. Still, though, he's definitely closer than he has been. Right in that gearbox of his fellow Brit, his teammate. You've got to feel like he's going to eye up a manoeuvre at some point. Will he go for a lunge? Will he go for a desperation move? We shall see. But when we start to look at the strategy, and when we're bringing the cars in, Hamilton will be brought in first as the car that is ahead. Will that be beneficial or not? That's just the way we're doing it. But for now, he's just doing enough to keep Norris behind him. We shall continue to watch how this story develops in later laps. Okay, riding on board with Daniel Ricciardo as he powers down the straight with DRS and puts the move on Sebastian Vettel. So Perez has already overtaken him. Ricciardo has now got past there, as it looks like those soft tyres that Vettel is running are beginning to wear to the point where they are actually slower maybe than the mediums at this point. And he's in 7th position having lost 2 positions recently. But nonetheless, I mean, it's still a sterling effort. P7, still a sterling effort by Vettel in that AlphaTauri, when his teammate, for example, is down in P16, although he looks like he may have stopped, to be honest. Yeah, he's just stopped, so we'll see where Vettel comes out once he has his stop, although it's getting to the realms of, is it possible to stick on a set of hards and make it to the end at this point? It's getting quite close, isn't it? But anyway, there you go. Vettel still in P7 now, still in that top 10 on those soft tyres. We'll see where he comes out in the wash once the strategies and these pit stops have all played out. But this is the most interesting thing of this race so far. Where will Vettel finish? That is the story of the race. Everything else is quite quiet until we get a lock-up in Sector 3, and it's Lance Stroll who's gone off the track.
Oh, big lock-up there. Here's the replay. So this was the Aston Martin. And they've gone wide. Way wide.
I thought the accident was a little bit bigger than that happened there. It was just a bit of, gone off. The way it was, like the car was wedged against the barrier, I thought it like gone side swiped into it, boof, big crash. I don't think he even touched the barrier, to be honest, but anyway, he went off the track, and that's clearly detrimental to one's race. He's now down in 19th position. Anyway, up front though, it's still Hamilton, Norris, Sainz, Leclerc. Top 4 haven't changed since the start of this race. So, yeah, still looking like McLaren, followed by Ferrari, followed by Perez. Back soon. Oh, and hang on. Vettel just coming into the pits as I was about to cut away there. So we'll ride on board simply to see where he comes out, and let's see what tyre he puts on. I'm suspecting he's going to put on a set of hard tyres here. Got some more people coming into the pits here. Yep, set of hard tyres going on. Where is Vettel going to come out? Here he comes. He's going to come out into 10th position, maybe 11th. And he now has got to settle in to a bit of a rhythm and a bit of a routine. He's got Russell still behind him. Don't forget, Russell was behind him before the stops, and he's still behind him. So that bodes well for Vettel, who's in P10, having stopped. Let's have a look at who stopped ahead of him. We've still got all the people ahead of him to stop, but they are on one-stop strategy. So, it's going to be interesting to see, because Vettel has to stop again. You would suggest this is where he's going to have to start to close the gap on those medium runners who have worn mediums. His fresh hards, he's going to have to make these laps count, because he's going to have to stop again, so he's going to have to find some time somewhere. And this is the time where he will have to find it, you'll feel. He's making the most of the tyres that he's got being fresh now. But we'll follow that as it develops. For now, it's Hamilton, Norris, Sainz and Leclerc and Perez, as has been for the past few laps. Top 4 as it has been for the entirety of this race. Back soon. We have a spin. And it's Vesti. Vesti spinning out on lap 26. Thankfully, he's kept his car moving. No need for a safety car, virtual safety car, or worse. Red flag, for example. He's in P16. And it looks like Norris actually had an attempt to pass Hamilton there. So he's keeping Hamilton very honest here. As the race laps are ticking over, Norris is getting closer and closer to an overtake here. As the tyre wear of both cars, well, you can see that Hamilton is easier on the tyres. He's got 4% more tyre life, even though both cars have been given the same instructions. So Hamilton kind of on the tyres, but it's not helping him at the moment, because Norris, well, it might be actually, who knows. Without it, would Norris be already passed? I don't know, but it's close. It's close, as has been the case when these two get their foot down and pull away from the rest. The one thing that the fans, I suppose, have to be able to say is at least they're racing each other, because it's at least this is a battle for the victory, and it's not one driver of the team streaking off with no competition, even from his own teammate. So yeah, we've got we're in the pit window. We'll pit Hamilton on lap 30, and we'll pit Norris on lap 31. I'm thinking is going to be the strategy. We've got Sainz and Leclerc still there. We've got Perez still in 5th, Ricciardo still in 6th, Alonso is up there. Vettel is indeed closing the gap to Gasly as we expect. He's got those fresher hard compound tyres. We expect him to probably pass Gasly within a couple of laps. We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so as we start lap 29, or lap 28 rather, here with Vettel, he has been passed by Russell earlier this lap. So that's unfortunate because it puts him out of the points. Russell, of course, gaining on Gasly. So it's all about getting past Gasly now for Russell and for Vettel, and then try to continue to make forward moves. But yeah, we have become fixated for this race on Vettel's story. Will he manage to finish in the points, having been as high as 5th position in this race on a strategy which is faster on paper, but will it end up being faster on the track? We still have to wait to find out. It's looking touch and go. I'm still saying not, as the cars snake their way around here, sector 2 into the final sector. Russell and Vettel will have to pass Gasly pretty sharpish here. They cannot afford to be held up for too long behind a car. They need clear track to make their strategy work, to make their fresher tyres work here. Here we go. Let's ride on board with Russell to see if he will be able to get past Gasly. Fresher tyres, DRS, it should be a done deal. It's looking like it is a done deal. And where's Vettel in all of this? Almost 3 a line here, going into the first corner. Vettel just missing out. Russell making the move. Will Vettel be able to get up the inside here? Second dose of DRS, better compound, better grippier tyres, and he does. Takes the inside line, and that's how you do it. So both Russell and Vettel passed Gasly, which was critical for their race. Okay, Hamilton coming in for his one and only stop then. It is lap 30 already. And we're going to ignore for Norris.
Box.
So Hamilton coming in this lap, Norris going in one after. Here comes Carlos Sainz from P3. Leclerc will go one lap longer maybe. But we're into the realms of the one-stop window now. So all cars on medium tyres will be coming in the next couple of laps. So let's ride on board here with the race leader. Haven't been on board with him. He's just been well, I'd say he's been chilling out in the lead, but he hasn't really, has he?
In the pit lane.
He's had his teammate less than a second behind him for the entirety of this race, so he's having to make sure that he does not make a single mistake. Norris is trying to put that pressure on, and Hamilton is managing to rebuff that pressure so far, but there is still more than half this race to go, and he will have to maintain this same level of concentration, because one little dip of tyre into a gravel here, or onto a grass, and it's going to be game over. Norris is waiting to pounce. Speaking of which, we'll give him the order for his pit stop in the next lap, so let's ride on board. Of course, as far as I'm aware, there's no chance for the pit crew to make any mistakes here in this game, so it should be pit, stop, 2.5 seconds stationary, away you go, one and only stop for the race. No major issues other than the fact that we've got a car that we have to lap ahead of us, which may give Norris that extra little bit of time he might need to pull out an overtake during the strategy. We've seen how difficult it is to pass. If Norris gets ahead of Hamilton in this pit stop, that could be race over. So Hamilton will not want to be hampered by any cars in front of him here, because that could just be the half a second that Norris needs to make his move. Norris has got clear track here. Let's have a look. Riding on board with Hamilton. He's coming up to the back marker. He hasn't got anywhere near the back marker close enough to be hampered by him, but he's coming up to it now. I think he might be alright. I think he might be alright here. But it is a bit touch and go. Lando coming into the pits now. Let's have a look. Let's ride off board as he comes down. Pit limiter slows that car right down. And he comes. Now where is Hamilton? Hamilton is now beginning to get hampered by this back marker. We'll get DRS. There you go. Down the straight. As we ride on board with Norris. He's coming. Oh no, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He's just coming out of the pit now. There goes Hamilton. So Hamilton has indeed got ahead. And he's actually got out of DRS range, which could be crucial. That was what we suspected was keeping Norris in touch with Hamilton, and now that he doesn't have the benefits of it, is that going to be game over? Is that going to be an end to the race victory run that he's been on? It's looking like it could be, as he's fighting his way past the back marker. 2.6 seconds is the gap. We'll keep an eye on that. Will it be coming down? Will it be staying the same? Will it be going up? We'll have to watch. But as the stops have been made, Leclerc's come in for his. Yep. All drivers have now stopped at least once, and this is the positions. Hamilton in first, Norris in second. He's lost time. Sainz has gained time on Leclerc, so coming in early does help. That undercut is a possibility. Coming in first is good on this track, it seems, looking at the pit stops of the first four cars here. Perez is in fifth. He's got Russell behind him. He's got Vettel behind him. So Vettel's still clinging on up to P7, but don't forget, it's likely, not certain, but likely that he has to pit one last time, which is going to put him way down. So I'm still not convinced this is the right strategy, but we will continue to watch out and see if things happen. One thing that's also worth noting is that Max Verstappen is up to P12 after his foray into the gravel/barrier. But he has to stop again too, it's likely, because his hard tyres went on very early. But currently, P12 looking for some points as Ocon and Alonso in the Alpines are battling hammer and tongs, tooth and nail for that 9th and 10th spot. And Norris is 3 seconds now behind, so it's looking like Hamilton is pulling away, and it was indeed DRS that was assisting Norris in keeping tabs on Hamilton, but now he doesn't have it. He's finding life a bit more tricky. Anyway, we're in a state of calm, so we'll cut back to when something happens. But there is your top 10 as we went through it. So we are on lap 40. Nothing much has happened really. The only thing that really is happening is Verstappen is making his way through the field. He's now up into P10, having just overtaken Ocon. He's got Alonso ahead of him, and we've got a lock-up on Sector 1. Who is it?
Sounds like someone's locked
Hey, it's Magnussen. Okay, well, we won't watch the replay. Not exactly high drama there, is it? The guy in P13. But high drama here, because Verstappen is on the move. He got past Bottas. He's got past Ocon now. And now he's got his sights on Fernando Alonso. And you've got to imagine that he'll be making his way past Alonso the way things are looking right now, because he's making some good moves. We're looking at the tyre strategy. 64% is the tyre wear with 29 laps to go. That's looking touch and go. I think he's got to stop again, but we'll keep an eye on this one. We'll see if he gets past. If he does, as we expect, he's coming from a little bit further back. We've got an incident in Sector 2. Looking at the timing screens, trying to see who's suffering. Looks like it might be Sonoda, no? Is it? No?
I think someone's run
It is
wide.
Sonoda. But he's still running, so he hasn't gone off. But there we go. As expected, Max Verstappen has indeed made his way past Alonso and is up to P9, 4.2 seconds behind Ricciardo. And he's making his way forward. Does have to put on another set of tyres, possibly. It'll no doubt be a soft set for a sprint finish, which could be quite exciting. But for now, he's up into P9, and all he needs to do is continue to focus on going as quickly as possible to see where he ends up. In the points would be quite an achievement from the penalties and the spin-off that he had would be quite an achievement. But anyway, it is still Hamilton who has pulled out a 4.1/2 second gap on Norris. It's looking like Hamilton is in control here today. Sainz has pulled a 5-second gap to his teammate. So it's 1, 2, 3 and 4, as has been the case for the entirety of this race. Perez still in 5th, although he does have Russell within DRS range. Vettel is being pulled along. Ricciardo is catching up to that group. And then look at that. Max Verstappen may well join that party. We shall see what happens next. Okay, so we've got a bit of drama here on lap 46, and the drama is Vettel is trying to make his way past Russell, who seems to be going a bit slowly. He's lost time to Perez over the past few laps as Russell, and Vettel has closed in, and Vettel is looking like he may well be passed. Concertinaing up is Ricciardo, who's caught this little battle, so it's looking like Russell is slowing proceedings down here, and for Vettel's race it's imperative that he gets past. Let's ride on board. Is he passed? He is, but who's going to get the DRS? Who was ahead at the detection point? Russell was, so actually Vettel gets the DRS, not just here, but round this corner, and then down this straight will open again, which will help for him to consolidate his 6th position and hopefully pull away from the man who was slowing him down. So he's lost 4 seconds to Perez, but nonetheless he's now up into P6. Is Vettel potentially to stop again? Maybe, but maybe not. Who knows? Is he in tyre conservation mode? Not sure, but it's pretty tight. Pretty tight, but he's got Danny Rick, who's also past Russell now. Russell seems to be struggling a little bit at the moment. He's gone from P6 down to P8. His teammates overtaken him. Vettel's overtaken him, and he's got Verstappen to worry about soon enough, because Verstappen is closing in P9. But Verstappen is looking more likely to have to pit again. His tyres are 56%, so we don't think he's going to be able to make that to the end. On those boots, they'll be a bit knackered. There'll be some great big holes in them. The insoles will be worn away. It'll be like walking on planks of wood. Yes, 4.8 seconds to get to Hamilton, who continues to race in the lead. Sainz is still 3rd, 4th. There's the top 5 haven't changed, of course. Unlikely to do so at this point as Perez laps a vehicle. Vettel, I'm just interested to see whether or not he can maintain that gap to Ricciardo and Russell. But anyway, there you go, a little bit of drama there in the midfield, but it seems to have played itself out for now. Vettel still clinging on to those high positions, by his standards at least. In that car, you've got to say 6th position is quite a high position to be in. But we'll see where he finishes as the race unravels. Okay, so of note, at the start of lap 48 is that Russell is making his pit stop. Now, Russell is one of those drivers that went onto the softs at the start of the race. So this is his second stop now, putting on a set of mediums, and he will have to go, well, he will be going to the end on that, but he will have fresh boots to close in and pass the cars ahead of him. But it's is it gonna make that work? So if he's coming in, you can bet your bottom dollar Verstappen's going to have to come in. You know, Vettel's going to have to come in. And it looks like Ricciardo has got past Vettel here. So yeah, those cars that started on the softs are going to have to pit again, and that pit window is looking like it's opened just about now. Vettel's tyres 65%, Verstappen's at 54%. They're going to have to come in again. Righty-ho, we've got a bit of action here. Lap 53, we've got Vettel and Verstappen side by side. As
Fastest lap.
Hamilton gets a new fast lap of the race as they continue to trade blows. Sainz picked it up not so long ago, but as the fuel load burns off, those lap times will come down. It'll be difficult to get fastest lap this race if some of these drivers, such as Verstappen, pick for fresh sets of mediums right now. They'll be pretty quick on those mediums when they come out. But yeah, Verstappen still has to pit 47%, Vettel 58%. They ain't making it to the end on those. But yeah, Verstappen has passed Vettel for track position. Both of those cars have to stop again, so this is actually for bona fide position. As Verstappen continues to make his way forward, Vettel is going to do his best to cling on to Verstappen here through the DRS. He's got Alonso on the back of him now, who's catching up. Of course, Vettel's tyres are now worn, given that he put them on early. So this is the part of the race where he's going to have to just hang on as much as he can, because these tyres aren't as good as the cars behind. I mean, right now, I'd be coming in for a set of mediums now, to be honest with you, but he's hanging it out on those hard tyres, which are looking pretty sluggish right now. If he wants to finish in the points, he's going to have to really get a move on, you think. But we'll see what happens with this one. Vettel has been our kind of the guy that we've been following for the entirety of this race to see how his race pans out on that alternative strategy. And right now, is it going to get him points? I'd suggest not, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see. 15 laps to go. And tragedy for Vettel. He's gone off the track. A lock-up. He's had to come back on the circuit. He's missed the chicane there. And, that's devastating. He's lost time as Vettel. I mean, his tyre life is 51%. Verstappen's is 41%. He still hasn't pitted. There's 12 laps to go. You've got to think he's going to have to come in at some point. Vettel might be able to make it. He's got Ocon all over the back of him, I'm sure, pretty sharpish. Where is Ocon? Ocon is there. Where's Vettel? Vettel is just round that corner. Ocon is coming round here. So for Vettel to finish in the points, he's either going to have to pit very soon, or he's going to have to cling on those hard tyres that are very worn. And I'm sure Ocon will probably... Well, maybe not, because Ocon's tyres are just as bad. Although Russell on the softer mediums, who did stop a second time, is now coming into the mix. Because look at this. Russell, playing the two-stop, coming in for the mediums early, was battling with Vettel. And now, he's only 2 seconds behind Vettel, and Vettel is yet to make a stop. So, at this point, he's kind of in no man's land, because he's going to have to make these tyres last to the end. He's going to be defenceless against Russell. If he comes in for the softer compound now, he's not got himself enough laps to make them work. It's a catastrophe. Absolute catastrophe here for Vettel. The strategists have hung him out to dry, you've got to feel. He should have come in for mediums when Russell did. Russell has been much quicker. Let's have a look at the lap times. Last lap times here. Look at that. 1:19.8. 1:23 for Vettel, but he did have a trip off the track, so that doesn't completely count. We'll have a look at this next lap as being the lap where he didn't go off. Let's have a look at what lap time he's producing here. I'd probably say about 1:21, 1:22-ish, maybe even. Maybe 1:22. Yeah, 1:22. 3-1. Russell's 1:19.0. These tyres are here on 3 seconds a lap quicker than these worn hards. This is not the strategy to be on for Mr. Vettel. His points are evaporating before his very eyes, unfortunately. It's not looking good, folks. It's not looking good. So we're back on board here. We're back on with Russell on those with those fresher mediums. 76% worn. Softer compound. This should be like taking candy from a sleeping baby. But then again, maybe it's not. Maybe Vettel is using a bit of ERS, using some toys here to keep ahead of Russell, who didn't make the DRS countdown that straight. Is not looking like he's going to make it count down this short straight here. And somehow Vettel, for another lap at least, is still in 10th position. Verstappen still in P7 with 37% tyre wear. You've got to suggest at this point he's making these tyres go to the end. And he's got a decent enough gap to Alonso of 7 seconds. So, I mean, no, sorry, of 2 seconds. I've miscalculated that. 2 seconds is the gap there. So he might just still be able to finish in 7th without stopping again. We'll have to see. But this... Oh, we've got... I thought we were getting a bit confused there. We've got Hamilton, who is lapping Vettel and Russell. Of course, Russell has just got past Vettel, which I missed. I got confused by the fact that I saw my car there. I thought, what's my car doing there? Oh, we're lapping them. Okay, so Russell has got past Vettel, as you would expect. He's actually... Oh, it looks like he's... Oh, is it Norris? Oh, it's not Hamilton, it's Norris. Is it not? I don't know what's happening here. Don't know what's going on. Forget what I'm saying, folks. Forget what I'm saying. But anyway, Russell has unlapped himself. And... it's a strange situation where the car that's lapping you actually isn't that much quicker than you, because we've got like really worn tyres. Russell's got slightly less worn medium, so he's got the faster tyre. Vettel has got really worn hard, so he's definitely slower than us, so he won't be able to get back past. And he's got Ocon 4 seconds behind, so Vettel's points now, he's going to have to rely on a car here spinning off, which... When he was up in P5, you've got to suggest that it might have been a points day, but choosing to long stop those hards is probably slower than putting on the mediums for that second stop, as is clearly been demonstrated by the fact that Russell is streaking away here, and is not looking backwards, but in fact is looking forwards, because Bottas is only 2.6 seconds ahead, so... That's definitely doable. Okay, so Russell on lap 65 has indeed passed Bottas in the DRS zone there. Just missed it, unfortunately, but it's to be expected, and he's actually gaining on Alonso too, so that two-stop working out pretty well now for Russell. I mean, would he get Verstappen? It's looking pretty touch and go, but Verstappen's tyre wear, 32%. When those tyres get to less than 30, they start to drop off significantly. So Russell's got a 7th place finish in his sights, but that is behind his teammate, who only 1 stopped. So, you know, the argument is, was the 2-stop much better off, really? We'll see. But Vettel still clinging on to P11. His tyres are better than Verstappen's, 42, probably going to make it to the end at this point. But the question is, what's Verstappen going to do when his tyres fall off that cliff? We've got 4 laps, we might as well ride on board now for the rest of these 4 laps and finish this off properly. Hamilton still in the lead, he's got a 6.5 second gap to his teammate. He's had pretty much nothing to worry about all day. He's been in full control of this one of his favoured circuits. Norris done all he can today. Of course, second place is what you at least would have expected in this car. Clearly a car designed perfectly for this track. But his teammate was just too good today. Hamilton proving it from qualifying, really. Always been a step ahead. Sainz is in 3rd. He's been in 3rd all race. So is Leclerc in 4th. The slower of the 2 Ferraris, the world champion, continues to have an up and down season. Perez in that Red Bull, not been able to lay a glove on those Ferraris, let alone the McLarens. 38 seconds behind Leclerc is quite a considerable margin, especially given the cars were on the same strategy. And look at that, Verstappen with 4 laps to go has had to come in. Righty-ho, so Verstappen, sorry there, I had a bit of an issue with my coughing fit. Verstappen coming out in P12 on soft tyres. But he's going to have to really put his foot down because he's only got 3 laps to go. And that puts Vettel up into the points. 10th position for Vettel. His tyres are in better condition. 40%. He can make those go to the end now, surely. 10% till they get to 30%. So he should be able to make these last. Can he keep... He's keeping Ocon at bay quite nicely. So that should be doable. But will he keep Verstappen at bay? Verstappen is on the charge now on those soft compound tyres. As soon as he dispatches of Ocon, he's got 4 seconds to get back to Vettel with 3 laps to do it in. It's going to be pretty close. It's going to be pretty close. This is where the race is hottest right now. We might as well ride on board here to see what happens. Everywhere else is pretty stable. You can see, you can almost hear and feel that Verstappen is just being held up here. He's just itching to get his foot onto that accelerator and power past. And is he going to power past? It's looking like he's not down this straight, not getting that run off the final corner. Is he going to get a better look in down this shorter straight? He's going to have to do, because if he doesn't, he's going to be hampered for an entire rest of this lap, and he needs to get past, and he needs to make that count. 4.4 seconds to Vettel. This is it now. He's got to reel Vettel in over the next 2 or 3 laps, and he should be much, much quicker. Alonso's battling hard with Bottas for 8th and 9th. Let's have a look at the tyre wear of both those cars. They're quite the same. Both one stopping, both battling for that position. And look at this. Look at the pace differential. Look at the pace differential. Vettel will be a sitting duck here. He's trying to cling on to 10th place. We've been following his progress for the entirety of this race, and he's so close to a points finish. But it's not looking likely, as the fresh, soft tyre shod Red Bull is looking like it's going to just cruise on past Vettel without breaking a sweat. He's clearly going to pick up fastest lap of the race, despite the fact that we turned our drivers off lift and coast and give them the full fuel load to use. They're not going to get fastest lap compared to a fresh, soft-tyred car here. But unless Vettel finishes in the points, he won't get a bonus point. So he has to pass Vettel, and it's looking like a done deal here. He may even pass him before the DRS zone, such as the pace differential. We'll find out. Look, just the drive off these corners will be so significantly better. He'll be passing him without even the need for DRS, you would almost imagine. But it's such a difficult circuit to overtake on. So many corners that, yeah, it's unlikely but not impossible. There you go, look at this. Hamilton on his last lap. There you go, look at that, down into this corner.
1 lap remaining.
Doesn't need the DRS. Vettel is up into P10. He won't be making up 6.9 seconds in a lap, he would suggest. But nonetheless, he does pick up 10th place. Given his escapades today, not a horrendous result. And our hearts go out to Vettel, who has tried to take this car into the points, having to go so long on those hard tyres, starting on the softs. If it had followed Russell's strategy, he'd be round about here, you would suggest, because they had similar pace in their first 2 stints. So you've got to suggest that trying to go hard onto soft onto hard and then not changing onto the mediums, not the best strategy. If you're going to start on the softs, you should have done the 2 stops. But anyway, here is our race leader, Lewis Hamilton, coming round the last couple of corners. He has been imperious today here at Hungary to stop the rot. He crosses the line and wins the race. Norris coming round 6.9 seconds behind in a dominating fashion
What an amazing drive
for the McLaren team.
Elena, that is the checkered flag, so we are boxers.
And there you go, Alonso. Verstappen finishes 10th, and a heartbreak for Vettel, finishing in P11. Never mind. Sainz, Leclerc, Perez have to finish their laps, of course, because they are the cars that haven't been lapped. We lapped everybody up to P5. Here he is.
This is a result truly worthy of a champ.
Our championship leader, the 7th-time, soon to be 8, if the points are anything to go by, champion here. Lewis Hamilton wins with the 118.5 of his best, 117.5 of course with the soft tyres for Max. He gets a bonus point there, but 25 for Lewis, 18 points for Lando for second. Sainz and Leclerc couldn't even keep in anywhere near, but they were conversely far ahead of the Red Bull of Perez there. So 2 by 2. Perez finishing 5th, Ricciardo 6th, Russell in 7th, 2 stopping there, Bottas 8th, Fernando Alonso in 9th, and Max Verstappen bringing up the top 10. Vettel. Oh, missing out there. Lewis Hamilton re-establishes a bit more of a lead now in the championship. That is 49 points. 49 points is the difference. Lando has got a lot of work to do. 7 wins this season for Hamilton and 13 podiums. That's 4 wins and 10 podiums for Norris. 3 fastest laps apiece. 7 poles to none. Such is the consistency of Hamilton. Every race he started this season has ended in a podium. And Leclerc, with a race win to his name, is in 3rd position. His teammate Carlos Sainz is in 4th, and Max Verstappen drops 2 places down to 5th after a very bad day in the office. Constructors-wise, Ferrari move ahead now of Red Bull by 10 points. It will be a close race between these two for 2nd place in the Constructors, because clearly the winners of this title are going to be McLaren, barring any kind of catastrophe right now. I don't know, unless we have a handicap system where every race we are ordered to drive around with 3 wheels, perhaps. Development point for Hamilton. We shall put in before the next race. Sponsorship's gone well. Mid-season review. We were targeted 3rd. We are currently 1st. We are on target to win the Constructors ahead of schedule. So looking good there. Team rating is pretty good, 4 out of 5. Board confidence is high. We get a 1.5 million bonus. How very kind of them. So there you go, folks. That is the situation. Let's refurbish that, shall we? I don't want any hospitality in poor condition. That's not good for the guests. There you go. Doing well with the board. So the next race on the calendar for us is going to be... Tells you there. Oh, it's Spa. The Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps. Yeah. Are we on the season break now? Yes, we are. 25 days. So we're in the summer break. We get 3 and a bit weeks off now before we have to head to Belgium for the Grand Prix there at Spa. So we'll see what happens. We have got a couple of parts being developed. The chassis should be done by then, and the side pods actually should be done by then too. So some more minor upgrades to the car before we get to Spa. So that's to look forward to as well. But yes, so far so good. The championship rumbles on. And what we will do is we will play not every single race that's left in this season. What we're going to do is we're going to play to the point where we have wrapped up both championships. So when we've wrapped up the constructors mathematically, and when we've wrapped up the drivers mathematically, at that point we'll end the series, as the championships will be decided at that point. So that's when we're going to end it. So it won't be a full season, I don't think. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed the session. Join me again for the next one, where we go to the classic circuit, the old circuit of Spa, to see what happens there. Until then, bye for now.